Welcome back, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer, so now let's talk silver. I always think it's pretty funny that people won't touch gold and silver with a 10-foot pole until stuff hits the fan, until banks start collapsing. Then they will. They won't prepare. Now, luckily, these people that are rushing towards gold and silver right now are getting it for an extremely good price compared to those who are still holding off that will buy it in the future, which, by the way, if what's happening right now with the banks isn't enough for you to realize maybe I should put my money into something that isn't pegged to fiat, then I don't know what will be. Regardless, though, the numbers don't lie. People are flooding towards gold and silver. APMEX, all these other sites, alert, unprecedented demand due to recent banking developments. APMEX is experiencing record volume this weekend. Shop now while supplies last. These sites, these dealers already are having a hard time finding silver. It's already been crazy enough the last couple of years, but right now, with all these new people finally understanding the banking system isn't invincible, and finally having the confirmation, the validation that not only could it happen, that it did happen, you could see why people are flying towards precious metals. Finally looking at us as, wow, maybe those guys weren't crazy this whole time. Maybe they were onto something. Regardless, though, silver stackers always get the last laugh, like I say. Before we jump into this video, I did want to mention that I'm doing a massive silver giveaway. The entry video is live. All you gotta do is click subscribe. I'm giving away a tube of eagles, an entire tube of sealed eagles. But there's also going to be another winner that is getting an entire tube of sealed eagles, because Andy Sheckman, the CEO of Miles Franklin, is also going to be throwing in, matching my giveaway prize. So you don't want to miss it. Your chances of winning have just doubled since Andy is also going to be matching the eagles. And like always, may the luckiest stackers win. So we got a silver price forecast. Silver explodes to the upside. Interest rates around the world felt rather hard, and therefore you started to see precious metals take off to the upside, including silver. Rightfully so. Silver's exploded to the upside during the trading session on Monday, as we have seen interest rates around the world drop, specifically in the United States. This helps precious metals and, of course, puts a bit of negative pressure on the US dollar. The move is based upon the regulators in the United States coming into the bailout of the now failed Silicon Valley Bank. At this point, traders are betting that the Federal Reserve is going to have to start easing its monetary policy and are doing everything they can to bully the Federal Reserve in the interest rate markets. This is all stuff we knew would happen. People just think that the world is invincible, that the United States is this rich country when we're actually $31 trillion in debt and the dollar's lost 98% of its purchasing power, and that we're not trying to get ourselves out of debt by replacing it with more debt, that we're not trying to get ourselves out of a hole by digging the hole deeper, trying to dig ourselves out of a hole. Think about that. It's like trying to pay off a credit card with another credit card. This was inevitably going to happen. It's literally designed to collapse. It's designed to fail. There's no way a system, a fiat-based system like this, could ever succeed. They never do. At this point, traders are trying to price in interest rate cuts, as the Federal Reserve will have to come in and bail everyone out. And that's the scary part, is when they're trying to price in, this is speculative, and right now there's a lot of fear, a lot of panic, a lot of uncertainty. And those factors, investing off of emotion, is what always gets people in trouble. Invest with your head, not your heart. As the Federal Reserve will have to come in and bail everyone out. But quite frankly, I don't think we are at that point yet. And therefore, this is setting up for a potential vicious move to the downside. I certainly wouldn't get in front of this, but we are approaching the 200-day EMA and the 50-day EMA. And that will more likely than not offer a bit of resistance, especially as there is a gap in the same general vicinity. So I'm not going to go into the Fibonacci and all that. I'll go over some of the support and resistant levels. If we break above $22.50, then it opens up the possibility of a move all the way up to $24. That is where the last sell-off started previously, and therefore it does make a certain amount of sense that we would see resistance and trouble in that area. right? Because if we saw resistance before, once it hits 24, people will probably sell it, a little bit of overbought territory, maybe take some gains off the top. Regardless, though, this is an important sentence down here. That being said, I'm not going to start selling this market until I see some type of exhaustion candlestick. At the same time, I certainly would not be chasing silver all the way up here, because silver, of course, is extraordinarily volatile under the best circumstances. See, that's for people that are trading. I really wouldn't focus on the day trading, marginal trading. I wouldn't focus on any of that. I do like to get ideas of what's happening to the price or where it's stabilizing. That's why I do show the charts and the technical analysis. But just buy physical silver and gold, throw it in your safe or your safety deposit box, or 6 feet in your backyard, or wherever wherever. Just buy the physical, because if you can't hold it, you don't own it. Someone else owns it. If you're sitting on Comex or wherever and shows that that's your silver, that's not your silver. Someone else is holding that silver, and it's theirs, not yours. Because the Comex, those ratios are not 1-to-1. They're not scale. It's manipulated. It's rigged. It's suppressed. I actually just made a huge video about that the other day. So March 13th, which is today, maybe tomorrow, depending on when I post this video. And by the way, the alert from APMEX about this demand was March 12th. So this is new stuff. This is all breaking out right now. Now, March 13th, Reuters, gold and silver prices surged on Monday as their safe haven appeal drew in investors spooked by the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank, with the crisis also sparking hopes the U.S. Federal Reserve would have to slam the brakes on its aggressive monetary policy. Now, let's look at what silver's price is right now as we speak. $21.69. Let's go to like the 1 week chart. This would be a good one. Yeah, you could see a lot of buying happened all of a sudden, and there is a direct correlation between silver's price and its demand. And we know as banks keep collapsing, we know as people realize that their money isn't safe in their bank account, people are going to keep turning towards precious metals, and that's going to keep pushing the price up, because there is a direct correlation between silver demand and the price. And not only beyond that, just the investing side, also the demand side from the industrial sector. We know solar panel demand increased 15% this year. It's going to keep increasing. We know that EV demand is going to keep increasing. So if we know silver demand over the next 5-10 years is going to keep rising, and there's a direct correlation between demand and the price, then what does that tell you? And not even including the supply deficit. That's just demand alone. So anyways, global share markets tumbled while the U.S. dollar and Treasury yields extended their declines despite efforts by regulators to control the Silicon Valley Bank. There's a lot of turmoil going on around there. Obviously, gold looks very much like it is fulfilling its mandate as a safe haven, with support from short covering of long exposures. So a lot of investors are looking to precious metal space as a safe haven against this volatility and risk amid much lower interest rate movement and the U.S. dollar that's dropping, which is lifting their prices. Yeah, I mean, there's a direct correlation between the dollar index and gold and silver, and that's also why you'll see bankers or anyone that's in a business that's tied to fiat is always going to, ironically, hate gold and silver. Always recommend you don't touch gold and silver with the 10-foot pole. That's because they have incentive for you not to do so. But I'm sure behind the scenes, those are the ones buying gold and silver, or that understand that it is a good investment, but it just won't fit their narrative, so they'll try to switch the narrative into talking about why silver's price is so low, how silver's price doesn't do much. But it's not even about that, right? Price is the greatest tool of misdirection. That's what Andy Schectman always says. Why are these banks hoarding gold and silver? Why is India buying 700 million ounces of silver if there's no big deal, if it's worthless? There's reasons why. Russia just bought a boatload of gold as well. I mean, just look at what the most powerful countries and leaders are doing, and that should tell you enough. And they're all buying gold and silver. Traders no longer expect a rate hike of 50 basis points by the Federal Reserve next week, and the current projection is for a 25 basis point move, with some even expecting no hike at all, making gold more attractive as it doesn't yield any interest. The future of gold prices largely depend on whether the Fed's measures prove effective. And this, if the Silicon Valley Bank's bankruptcy is deemed an isolated incident, gold may lose some of its recent gains. Precious metals dealer at Harris. I don't know. And that is a good point. If this is an isolated incident, it might, and that's the worst part is people might say, oh, it was just this bank, or this probably won't happen again, or maybe this was just a one-time thing, and in a couple of years we'll look back on this one instance, and this isn't going to keep happening over the next couple months or years. And then they'll kind of ease down, and this is that desensitization that people have of how crazy times are right now, that there things that would have been mind-blowing, bombs that get dropped, nowadays are kind of just, a weekly thing, and then they move past it. It blows over. That's very dangerous because people aren't really seeing what's unfolding be in front of their eyes because so much news is coming out on a day-to-day basis. Then it's the next thing. And then tomorrow something's going to come out and no one's going to remember that this happened, and that maybe gold and silver or the protection of their wealth won't be at the surface of their mind. They're already focused on something, some new tensions between Russia, Ukraine, or something along those lines. And that's what's so dangerous, and that's why people have to act, because you do not want to be the one kicking yourself in the butt saying, man, I wish I would have jumped the gun on gold and silver back when I was going to, because now look. And that's why I always tell people it's never too late to invest, especially right now, since the price still is extremely cheap. And if you're someone who thinks that $21 for an ounce of silver is pricey, if you're someone that thinks even $50 for an ounce of silver is pricey, then you're looking at it from the wrong perspective, because that means you're looking at it from a dollar-based perspective. $50 is worth nothing compared to an ounce of silver, of what an ounce of silver is used for, compared to what $50 is used for, and compared to what $50 will be continued, the purchasing power of that $50 over the next couple of years. $50 in 10 years, but let's imagine that the dollar doesn't, the dollar lasts that long. $50 in 10 years would be like what, $25 today, $20 today. But that ounce of silver is always going to have an ounce of silver inside of it. It holds its value. And that's why people turn towards precious metals as safe havens. But it's sad that it takes a bank to literally collapse for them to start buying silver. They will not prepare. They won't listen to all the advice or the red flags or the warning signs that are saying, yo, you guys might want to do this. They wait until it actually happens. Luckily, silver's price hasn't gone too high, and they could still get in now. But the ones that are still holding on, still being ignorant, holding their breath, those are the ones that are going to have to pay, pun intended. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Like I said, I'm doing a giveaway. All you have to do is go enter. All you have to do is go enter with a hashtag. Click subscribe, go enter, and you have a chance to win a tire tube sealed Eagles. I'll also be picking another winner, so your odds just doubled. You have 2 different chances. You don't want to miss it, folks, I promise. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you wanted to purchase some silver, highly recommend you go to Miles Franklin. Send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Let him know Silver Slayer sent you. Andy would love to hear it. Best dealer in the world, most trusted, been in business for 45 plus years, never had a negative complaint, because if they mess up, which they do, they always make it right. Andy will always fix it. And that's what I love about the company, is Andy's the best guy I know, such a good guy, and he always makes sure to take care of everyone. He didn't have to throw in that extra giveaway prize, a tube of Eagles, but he likes you guys. He likes my audience, and that's also why he does the weekly show, right? He's a busy man. He doesn't have to take up every Wednesday of his time, 2 hours of his time for us, but he does that. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thank you so much for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.